Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we are talking about booked and banked, how to effortlessly close high ticket clients without feeling salesy. And just imagine this, like you've spent weeks creating content, posting on social media, doing all the right things, and finally you've got someone interested in your coaching offer. Your heart races, you get on that sales call, and then they hit you with, I need to think about it. Does that sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. And here's the hard truth: if you can't confidently close high ticket clients, your dream business will stay a dream. But here's the good news: it's not because you're bad at sales, it's because you were never taught how to sell in a way that feels natural, that feels authentic, and aligned. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to enroll premium clients consistently without being pushy or sleazy or salesy or cheesy, none of that stuff, using a proven system that works even if you hate selling. So stick with me until the end because I'll even share a little known strategy I used to go from hearing things like, I'll think about it, I need to talk to my spouse, blah, 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 whatever, all those excuses, to closing 80% of my calls. And my clients are now doing the same. But before we dive in, my name is Heather Blaze, and I help coaches, consultants, experts generate consistent high income without burning out, hustling endlessly, or feeling trapped in that endless feast or famine cycle. And for the last 20 plus years, since 1996, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, helping many of them scale past six figures and some into actual multi-millions by showing them how to attract, enroll, and serve premium clients with ease. And trust me, I've been where you are. There was a time when I dreaded every sales call because I thought, what if they say no? Or I felt like I had to convince people or I had to be liked. There was all these things. I was like coming with this desperation, not meaning to, but it was in my subconscious. And it always felt gross. It just didn't feel good. It wasn't fun. It was like pushing all the time. And then I got an amazing sales coach. Shout out to Mike Lamoth. If you're watching this ever, he completely transformed the way I do sales. He helped me find my truth. He helped me come from this place of curiosity and caring and concern and understanding and listening and all these things. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And once I figured out this better way, one that's empathetic, that's human, and that's rooted in service, everything changed. And that's why I'm sharing this with you today. So here's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to dive into why most entrepreneurs struggle to close high ticket clients and why it's not your fault. We're going to also dive into the 3-part framework that I teach my clients to enroll premium clients with confidence and how to handle objections, how to handle them without pressure or manipulation. And then finally, the exact steps to start booking and banking consistently starting this week. So if you stay till the end, I'm also going to be sharing a bonus tip that helped one of my clients go from 0 to 30K in sales in just 45 days. So you don't want to miss this. But let's start off with the first thing. Let's talk about why most entrepreneurs struggle to close high ticket clients. And here's the thing. Closing high ticket clients has nothing to do with being salesy. Okay. It has everything to do with understanding psychology and positioning. Okay. And the reason why most entrepreneurs struggle is they're approaching sales like they're trying to convince someone, but convincing really creates resistance. So, I mean, just think about it. Let's picture yourself walking down the street and someone just shoves a flyer in your face, right? Even if you might have been interested, your first instinct is to pull back, right? They're pushing, you want to pull back. It's just an automatic human reaction. And that's exactly what's happening on your calls. If you're pushing instead of leading, the real key is alignment. So you're not selling, right? Selling, you're simply helping someone make the best decision for themselves. And if your offer is truly transformational, right? Because people aren't wanting information anymore, they want transformation. You're actually doing them a disservice Okay, if you're just giving them information, right? Your offer needs to be transformational, but you're doing them a disservice by not showing them the path forward if it truly is transformational. So now let me talk about the three-part framework to enroll high-ticket clients with ease. So this is my booked with banked free framework, let's call it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pre-sell before the call. So if you're showing up to a sales call or sales calls trying to convince people, right, that your value or your that you're trying to convince them that you're valuable, you're trying to convince them of the value of your offer, then you're already behind. Okay, they should be showing up to the call just knowing that automatically. So your content, your positioning, your messaging, those should do all the 80% of the heavy lifting before anyone ever speaks to you. And it should be done on autopilot. So if you don't know how to do that, put autopilot in the comments below and I will reach out to you to clarify that. So think of it like dating. Okay. By the time you go on that date, you should already have like somewhat of an idea that you might be a good fit, right? Like you're not just gonna like, let's just picture you're on this dating app. You're not gonna just swipe, have a little bit of a chit chat, and then go meet them. At least I hope not. I've been on those dating apps, and it's a bad idea, right? You want to at least call them. You want to at least have a conversation on the phone. Actually, I have a funny story about that. Way back, way back when I was on the dating apps. Yeah, I was chatting with somebody and then I hopped on the phone and I was like, oh my gosh, I could never date this person. After talking to them, they were super negative. They had like, their personality, like you can't tell on a chat, right? But you can tell if you have at least one conversation. So I was just like, I'm not going to waste my time and meet you in person. If I already know it's not going to be a good fit based on that, right? Like everything was just wah, 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 Debbie Downer, and that's not my personality. Like that's not a good fit for me. So anyway, same with this, right? You want some people to have some idea of your value and things like that before you even not waste your time, but it is kind of a waste of time if you already know that they already know that it's not going to be a good fit, right? There's only so many hours in the day. You don't want to be having these conversations. So all that automation should be happening to position you as the go-to against the competition, to really explain why you're different, why should they go with you versus somebody else, the value of what you're offering that's going to really position you as the person that they need to work with in order to get them the outcome that they want to get, right? So anyway, let's move on to number 2, and that's lead the conversation, right? You don't want to be pitching people. So I used to open calls by talking about my offer. Huge mistake, huge. And also I was like, like I said, I wanted to be liked. So I would come with this energy, no matter what their energy was. I was like, hey, how's it going? Life is great. Bah, 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 bah. Even though they're like dying, not dying, but they're just having such a hard time, right? You want to have that neutral energy, kind of like a doctor. I talk about this a lot too. It's like they've come into your doctor's office. The doctor, maybe you're majorly suffering from whatever you're suffering from. You're going to the doctor for something. And they come in with like, hey, life is amazing. And you're like, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. Like you don't want that. You want them to be concerned and caring and things like that, right? And curious about what's going on so that they can diagnose the problem and see if they can help you. Same here. Same with your offer. Okay. So now what I do is I spend the first at least half of the call, maybe even more than that, probably 80% of the call is focused entirely on them. Like, where are they now? What's their current situation? How is it impacting them? All these things. Where do they want to go? What do they ultimately want? What's getting in their way? What's it costing them? Things like that. So I can really truly understand what's happening and if I could even help them, right? Are we a good fit to work together so that I can get them that result? Because here's the truth. People don't buy coaching. They don't buy stuff I guess they do buy stuff for whatever, but it's coaching. We're talking about coaching here, right? Or helping people achieve a result. And that's just it, right? They're not buying coaching. If they could get that result or that outcome without the coaching, they would. So they're not really buying the coaching. They're buying what the outcome they want is. Okay. They're buying that outcome. So once they feel deeply understood, they naturally want your help, right? Makes sense? Put in the comments if that makes sense. So the third thing is then handling objections. When you want to do this with empathy, not pressure. right? Most people handle objections by battling them, and they wait till the end to find out what these objections are, right? Throughout the call, you should be uncovering these objections throughout, right? So then you can handle them as they pop up, not at the very end. Because I mean, that's what I do. I don't battle objections. I lead them, right, to bring them up, and then I handle them. I go the opposite direction of battling. I'm just like, give me some more clarity. So like if someone says I need to think about it, at the end, I lean in with curiosity, not, well, what do you have to think about? Right. I think I lean in. I'm like, okay, totally understand. I can appreciate that. Like, what's coming up for you? Or what are you thinking about specifically? Like I can't read their mind, so I don't know. Maybe there's something we didn't uncover, something, because if it's not like an immediate, yeah, and then I have to get clarity. Like, what do they have to think about? Maybe it's the money. Maybe it's that they don't have the money. Maybe it's the price. Maybe they have the money, but they just need to find the money. Maybe they need to talk to their spouse. Like, there's so many reasons. Maybe they don't have time to really you know, do the work that they need to do that you're going to give them to get that outcome. Like, you got to find out, right? You just have to find out like what is going on. What do they need to think about specifically, right? That one shift alone has closed hundreds of thousands in sales because instead of feeling sold, right, they feel heard, they feel understood. One of my clients came to me terrified of sales. Oh, she hated it, right? We have all this pre-existing programming too from years and years of, being sold to by sleazy, cheesy, manipulative people. So then you have this feeling like that's what sales is, but it's not. I even had a call last week with somebody and same thing. She was like, I hate sales. I'm like, well, what do you hate about it? Right. Getting that curious, like, what is it that you hate specifically? And then she told me, and what came out was she felt manipulated. She'd been sold some programs before that didn't work. She wasn't ready for things like that. So she felt manipulated, and totally understandable. If you've had these experiences, that's totally natural to feel that way. But if you come at it, right, if you learn that sales isn't that, right, like that my client came terrified of sales, and then she had amazing results for her clients, but she hated selling herself, which you're not really doing, right? But when you're coming from that other standpoint, that selling from service, within 6 weeks of using this framework that I'm talking about here, she went from closing 1 in 7 calls to closing 5 out of 6 calls. How amazing is that? Right. And the best part is that she told me is that she said, Heather, I don't even feel like I'm selling anymore. She says, I'm just having conversations. They're just flowing. Like, I'm listening, I'm understanding, and then that's it. So that's the shift that I want for you. Okay. Now here's a bonus strategy that most coaches never use. Okay. They always create an assumptive close. So the moment before the end of the call, I want you to have this thing. Well, here's what I mean. Okay. Instead of ending with, do you want to sign up? You can say, well, based on everything we've talked about here, here's what I'd recommend next. Right. Do you hear the reframe in that? This subtly positions you as the trust advisor, not a salesperson. So this one little tiny tweak helped another client close 42,000 in new business in just a month without ever pitching. So if you're ready to start enrolling premium clients with ease and finally hitting consistent 10K, 30K, 50K months, you don't need to figure this out alone. What I want you to do is join me on my free training where I walk you through my system. It's a fast track to money blueprint system, and it's step by step. Okay, so the link to that is right here in the description or in the comments maybe, but probably the description. And while you're here, hit the subscribe, like, and, just like this video, like button, and add booked, maybe booked is the word, like add booked in the comments. So I know that you're ready to go all in. So today we covered why most entrepreneurs struggle to close premium clients. We also covered my 3-step booked and banked framework. We talked about how to handle objections without feeling pushy or sleazy or cheesy or any of that stuff, how to feel aligned, right? and one bonus tweak that can transform your close rate overnight. But I want you to remember this. It's not about being salesy, it's about being of service. That's what I want your takeaway to be. Because the more you master this, the faster your business grows and the lighter it feels. I mean, it feels like fun having sales calls. I love having sales calls now. Before I was like dreading them and like, ugh. Now I look forward to them. I really enjoy meeting people, having these deep conversations with them. People open up like crazy. I'm there to support them. I'm there to help find them, a solution, that transformation. Even if I can't help them, I'll point them in the direction of someone I might know that can get them what they're looking for. So it makes it really, really fun and enjoyable. And what I want you to do too is I don't want you to miss out on next week's video where I'll teach you how to create an irresistible offer that sells itself. And that should be popping up around here somewhere, probably here or probably here. But anyway, thanks for joining me.